Hey guys, this is Darren with the Garrison Public Affairs Office, and today we are sitting down with Elisa Borah with the University of Texas at Austin to talk a vital peer support study for Army spouses. That and much more on this week's episode of the Great Big Podcast. Hey guys, welcome back. This is Darren with the Garrison Public Affairs Office. We're sitting down with Elisa Borah with the University of Texas at Austin. So, Elisa, go ahead and introduce yourself for us.
Hi, I'm Elisa Borah. I'm a faculty member here at the Steve Hicks School of Social Work and director of the Institute for Military and Veteran Family Wellness.
Awesome, and it's great having you. And we're talking a very important study today, the REACH Peer Support Study. Can you tell us a little bit about what the program is and what its goals are?
Yes, so it is a peer support program that we are studying as part of funding from the U.S. Department of Defense Congressionally Directed Medical Research Program. And just a little bit about it is that we are evaluating the impact on military spouses of being part of an 8-week support group. So we're testing that in person at Fort Cavazos. And we're recruiting participants right now.
Awesome. When did that study recruitment open up, and how long does it go for?
Well, we started recruitment this spring, and we have about 30 participants so far, and we're looking to recruit a total of 150 Fort Cavazos spouses. And that'll be going throughout 2024.
Okay. And again, is there a target audience? Are we talking just spouses in general, so both male and female, or are we targeting a specific group of folks?
Yeah, definitely all military spouses that are located at Fort Cavazos. They don't have to live on post, but just that they are married to or in a committed partnership relationship with a service member who's serving there. And we do ask that the participants are in the area for at least 4 months because this is an in-person program. So we ask that they attend weekly sessions for 8 weeks. And we have lots of time options. So we have evening times, daytime, Saturdays. And so we make those available and people can indicate which ones work best for them and their schedules. And then also because it's we don't have Spanish peer leaders, Spanish speaking peer leaders, we ask that the participants have fluency in English for now. That's how we're able to offer the program.
And I understand, like you said, you mentioned just now, sessions will be facilitated by peer leaders based off of a curriculum designed to foster group discussion across a variety of topics. What are some of those topics? Because this kind of reminds me, as a former company commander, kind of like an SFRG where people can kind of collaborate and discuss with one another the issues that impact them.
Yeah, it has some similarities, but a little bit different is that we've recruited military spouses from Fort Cavazos and trained them to be peer leaders. So we did that last December. And so now we have 20 trained spouse leaders who facilitate the groups. And every group has 2 leaders and about 6 to 8 members of the group who participate. And some of those topics include a real focus on self-care. So session 2 is called Taking Care of Ourselves. Session 3, we talk about all of the sometimes challenging aspects of military life, but the rewarding aspects as well. And then we know there are some difficult parts of military life. So session 4, we talk about navigating those times and relying on each other and helping each other out through whether it be a deployment, reintegration, any kind of healthcare needs, et cetera. And then we also focus on spouses getting any support they need in the community from each other, so that they can maintain their own wellness. We really emphasize that, the need for self-care and focus on what spouses need. Another session is love and relationships, because we know that's a big part of family life, and what makes us happy is having strong relationships. And so, those are just some of our topics. And the difference, I think, with some of the SFRG programming and other programming out there is that we do have a curriculum. So every session has already selected discussion questions that the leaders use to facilitate conversation. We have lots of resources connected to each topic that are related to local resources or beyond Fort Cavazos. We've got Army, we've got national nonprofit resources to help spouses in any area that they're looking for.
Yeah, that's amazing. I mean, it truthfully, it is something that often goes overlooked. We envision that the focus is on the service member, but we don't see what happens when that service member leaves for the duty day and going home and identifying that the family is an integral part of a service member's time in the military. So it goes beyond just the Army. It's across, all the branches of that family support network when that soldier goes home, and then also like if they are deployed, giving those spouses resources available to them and points of contact that they can reach out to outside of an SFRG type group, that they can focus on themselves as opposed to having to consult another type of group for those essential resources that they need throughout that time period.
Right. Yeah, we just want to make sure they feel really well supported and that they actually get to meet new people that can be part of their social support circle right there at Fort Cavazos. And that's why we emphasize in person, is just so that they get a chance to meet some other spouses. Even though they may not have the exact same experiences, they usually have something in common. And they usually have a great time and are able to support each other. And they even want to keep meeting after our program ends. They've really formed a good bond with those group members. Yeah,
it's great to hear. And like you said, the positive effects of that social support network that this group provided is very similar to the bonds that obviously, their respective soldier or service member builds within their time in the military. And of course, that fosters a partnership as well with other spouses within their respective, either whatever their spouse or their partner, what they kind of build their own little friend group. But this is a more direct way that not only to provide that social network aspect, but more of a resource building asset as well, identifying what programs are available during either, run-of-the-mill garrison time or in the cases, like you said, during either a family emergency, a deployment, or in what we're experiencing right now, right, inclement weather. I'm sure all these programs and resources are discussed amongst this group, correct?
Exactly. There's so many great resources no matter what aspect of military life they're going through. And sometimes it can be overwhelming, all the lists of resources out there, or not knowing which ones to start with. And so it's really good when you have someone that you know already that you've met in the group who can give you kind of that word of mouth referral. Like, I went there, it was good. And that usually helps people take that first step of getting help for whatever they're dealing with. So yeah, it's a really great connection to have. And then we point them toward all those great support offices around posts, so they know that those are great places to go. A lot of times, even though as providers we know there's lots of things out there, sometimes the individual doesn't realize how much there is and how to get help that they're looking for.
Right, I think that's the big part, right? Just the unknown is, in fact, I've learned a lot just being on part of this podcast team, is learning a lot about these agencies and other support networks that exist on the installation and across the Army. And it does seem kind of overwhelming because there is a lot of acronyms and a lot of programs out there, but sometimes people just don't realize they can just pick up the phone and seek this information out and get the much needed assistance that they need.
Yeah, definitely.
And where does the program go from here? Is this something that the University of Texas at Austin is trying to get out into the mainstream of other installations and other universities to do a similar study?
Yeah, that's a great question. So what we would do with the research is, based on the data and what we find to be positive impacts for spouses, we would submit the report back to Department of Defense, since they funded the research, and give our recommendations as to how this program could be disseminated and implemented across other Army or beyond other branch installations as they're looking to support spouses in any kind of challenges that they're going through. And something I wanted to mention is, I didn't really cover it a minute ago, but because it is research, we do a random assignment. So we have to compare with a control group. People who receive the program right away are compared with a group that are put on a wait list. And so once they are on the wait list, about half of the participants and they complete 3 surveys, which are each worth $50 because we like to compensate people for their time taking the 30-minute survey 3 times. After being on that wait list, 50% will then start their groups a little bit later than the first 75 people. So I just wanted to mention that. And that's a really important piece because we have to be able to compare it to people who did not receive the program in order to analyze the data correctly and understand that it was actually the program itself that made a difference when we look at the data. If we see really good outcomes, we want to know, was it because they attended the REACH program or was it just something else going on? So that's an important piece. So anyone who signs up will do a quick application to indicate that they meet eligibility criteria, that they are going to be in the area for about 4 months, that they're willing to be on the wait list if that happens. It's a 50-50 chance. And then they will get to be a part of the program a little bit later.
Yeah, I think that's critical. Like we said, is that this program can transcend just the United States Army as a branch. It's something that every branch can take lessons learned from and apply it to their own respective locations. We often get saturated with a lot of information, especially with the advent of social media and the internet. There's a lot of resources out there, but like you said, there tends to be either a confusion on what is available to military families, or sometimes they're just they think it's too much of a hassle to reach out, and they rather just navigate themselves through a very, very challenging lifestyle, which is the military lifestyle. And it's not just for their service member; it's for the family as well, through PCSs, all these different things, deployments, and like I said, any little incident that can occur throughout our daily lives that is amplified within a military family or a military household. But yeah, it's a great opportunity, not only for the spouses, but also the soldiers themselves to learn about what is available to the family unit through their spouse. So almost it fosters communication that sometimes doesn't exist. I mean, any spouse can tell you that sometimes they have no idea what their service member does on a day-to-day basis outside of the family fun events that are planned by units, or if their spouse does share with their day-to-day stuff. But I mean, I've known military spouses to be on 2 spectrums, and there's sometimes some in the middle. But either A, they have no idea what their loved one does on a day-to-day basis, or on the opposite spectrum, they're fully invested and know exactly what they do and what their job means, or their MOS respectively means to the Army. But you get that group in the middle too that often they know certain aspects, but not the full detail. And having a peer support group like this, I mean, it's pivotal. I mean, soldiers and service members across the DoD constantly rely on a peer network group, whether it's people in their MOS or their friends within their respective military unit, or mentors that they've developed throughout their military career. And this allows, we always say that in the military you make lifelong friends. I think this is a great opportunity for the spouse side of the house to also do the same.
Exactly. And they can also meet spouses, and hopefully they become friends across units. So this is not just focused on the one unit. Everyone's eligible to join together, and they may learn about different aspects of the military just in sharing experiences that they've had. But they often have common challenges. And so it's really valuable for them to realize, oh yeah, we're all going through the same thing. And we can, just by talking about it, can be very beneficial and supportive to hear each other. And it's also really helpful if they're facing a deployment and their service member is going to be leaving soon. They can fall back on this group that they've bonded with and kind of support each other in a small group. So that's really a great thing, a great outcome of this.
Exactly. And how is that? I know that, there's a spread, and especially amongst the peer advisors that you've built within this network here. Do you see a mix? Is it, a mix of both enlisted and officer spouses, or is it one group more than the other, or is it a nice solid mix so we can get diverse patterns?
It is definitely a mix. And that's something that we did address during our training, is that sometimes military culture may influence us to be a bit, maybe wary of rank affecting friendships. And we know that is an aspect of military life. But what we trained our leaders to understand is that, spouses don't, in this program, spouses don't wear their service members' rank. So we really just focus on our common experiences as spouses and try not to let rank play a role. And then another really important element is in the peer support group, the idea is that you share what you're going through, and then others support you and provide either resources or helpful comments. We don't try to problem solve everything because we can't really do that. We refer them out to the right other programs that can help with very specific needs. But the really important part is that they feel heard and that they know that people care about them and what they're going through. And so that's true across all rank. We don't let rank play a role. And so whatever people choose to share in the group is entirely up to them. And we always set group guidelines where we all agree that anything shared in the group is not shared outside the group with other people. Because there can be some fear around, well, what if it gets back to my unit, or what if people are gossiping about me or something that I shared. So we have a really good process where they come to develop guidelines as a group and commit to saying, we're not going to share anything outside the group. And we're also only going to share what we feel comfortable sharing.
No, that's great. And like you said, although the spouse, whether they're male or female, doesn't wear the respective rank of their service member on, any, or doesn't color any of their decisions or their interactions with their fellow spouses. But I think it's great to get these groups together. And the reason being is if your spouse is a private, if you have a spouse that is is the husband or wife of a command sergeant major or even a battalion commander or higher, you have that ability for someone to coach and mentor you. If you have a spouse that is navigating the military life for their first time, and then you have some that have been, with their respective spouse for sometimes over 20 years of a military career that has a wealth of knowledge that they can share amongst the group and allow that group to benefit as a whole, as opposed to, I think the problem sometimes with an SFRG is like we've said earlier, you can't really get outside the unit. It is a unit-based organization, and like you said, sometimes people do fear that whatever is said or whatever is done, is now known to the entire unit, or this is a little more capable, in my assessment, is that it can transcend a unit, it can transcend a whatever echelon it's at. It's the post, so you have a lot of resources that are available without the fear, well, if I say something, or if I seek help, it's going to get, either negative attention or be reflective negatively in a group that is extremely close, or as we say in the military, at the flagpole, right? It's the unit's organization. So somehow, sometimes people are afraid to participate in groups like that because of that reason, or they just don't want to open up completely because of that fear. And I think this is a great program just to transcend that and allow people to be completely open and honest and seek that help that they sometimes don't want to even ask for. I mean, especially in today's world, there's a lot more challenges that exist for the military family. We've seen that it's, I think some people think that the military family is infallible and, there's so many resources available. So how could a family go through struggle or drama? And well, hey, this is a stressful profession, as there are many others. But we're starting to see food insecurity impact the military. The dollar is not stretching as far as it used to go, and as families start to grow, that becomes a challenge. So I think this is an opportunity, again, like I said, not just to isolate that spouse network just to one unit. It allows it to expand throughout an entire post and hopefully pretty soon across the DoD as a whole.
Absolutely, yeah. I completely agree that we need to do a lot more for families just to make sure that they feel supported and they have access to any kind of resources they need. And there's so many great resources out there. It's just helping them navigate that and find the right ones so they can really address any challenges they're facing. And just our study is called the REACH study and the REACH Peer Support Program. And I just wanted to say, the acronym for that is R is for resource, E is empower, A advocate, C connect, and H heart. And we worked to develop that name with a group of military spouses, so we'd really represent what it is that this program is all about. And I think those words really say a lot about what we're trying to accomplish here. So yeah, and I wanted to just say to anyone listening, like, we would love to come brief your SFRGs or your unit briefings, pre-deployment briefings. We'd love to come share information about the program and the study and how spouses can get involved.
Perfect. Yeah, this is, like I said, a tremendous opportunity for military families. So it's like any resource. If you don't use it, you lose it. Or if you don't know that it exists, sometimes you can't reach out and benefit from it. Elisa, what brought the University of Texas at Austin to want to do this study? What drove? What was the impetus behind it?
Yeah. So part of the Institute for Military and Veteran Family Wellness is another organization called the Veteran Spouse Network. And that has been a program we've been running for about 6 years with funding from the state of Texas. And that's really focused on veteran families and spouses. And so we were running a very similar peer support program in that community. And we were having active duty spouses reach out and say, can we join these support groups that we were offering on Zoom? And we said, we'd love to help you and support you, but the curriculum we've designed is really about the needs of spouses after the military, which are pretty different. That's why we call them veteran spouses, whereas people still living military life are what we call military spouses, like all of you call them. And so we realized, let's try to develop a curriculum that really meets those needs. And we put together our study proposal to the DoD, and luckily they funded it. And that's how this all came about. We're in our second year of the research. The first year was meeting with spouses, doing focus groups to understand what should this curriculum look like, what are the major issues and concerns that spouses are facing. And then we revised our old curriculum that was for veteran spouses to really adapt it for this community. And so then we finalized that last summer, and then we did our training of peer leaders. We recruited them, trained them in December. And then this spring, we've been launching the program. And the support groups, I should add, are held at the People First Center. We've been really appreciative of the sponsorship of 3 Corps around this research. And so they've been allowing us to use that meeting space in there. It's really great.
No, it's awesome to hear that there's more programs out there outside of this one that continue to do the same thing. And with that, does the program partner with other entities? Like, I know the USO has a very strong spouse connection program. I'm sure DAV has a big program to try to network and allow and enable spouses to get more connected, and whether you're a veteran spouse or an active duty spouse, allow them to seek more opportunities for themselves while they're following this journey, either with their veteran or their service member.
Yes, absolutely. So our website for the Veteran Spouse Network is really easy. It's veteransspousenetwork.org. And on there, it shares all the programming that we have. And some of them are available to active duty spouses as well. We've kind of expanded, and so we have more and more opportunities open to everyone. And then our peer support program is just focused on veteran spouses. And then it also does list a resources tab where we have curated a list of organizations, like you mentioned, where they also provide support to spouses. So we know a big area of need is employment. So there's some large national organizations like Onward to Opportunity, Hiring Our Heroes, et cetera, that are helping spouses, whether they be military or veteran spouses, to address employment issues. And then we do have USO, like you mentioned, USAA, there's American Red Cross. There's so many great things out there that can help families with whatever they're dealing with.
Yeah, it's just an amazing support network, and just to see how everything kind of gets connected. Like I said, I've learned so much just being in this position that I'm currently in. Even after I served 13 years in the Army, I learned things that I wish I would have known when I was on active duty to provide those resources to soldiers and their families. So, I mean, it's just so amazing to see not only what the state of Texas, but what the federal government has in terms of support for military families. And it's just a matter of looking up the resource, seeing if it's right for you, and picking up the phone or writing an email to get more information on the program.
Definitely. And sometimes it's just talking to someone that's a little bit more informed and aware of all those resources, and they can just point you in the right direction. So you don't have to do all the research yourself or search all those websites. So that's something we do at Veteran Spouse Network too. You can just talk to someone one-on-one and say, I'm looking for this or that, and then we can direct you to maybe some good top 5 programs to go explore and see if they're a good fit for you.
Exactly. And if people want to learn more about the program, Elisa, or get involved, who should they reach out to, and how should they reach out to y'all?
Yes, so they can definitely email us at, this is a somewhat easy address. It's the IMVFW, and that stands for Institute for Military and Veteran Family Wellness, at austin.utexas.edu. So that's an easy email to reach out to us. You can also look for our website that covers the whole research program, the REACH program. And if you Google UT Austin REACH, you could find that website. I don't want to spell out the whole thing.
No worries.
But and you can always email me as well. And my email is Elisa, ELISA Borah, B as in boy, ORAH, at austin.utexas.edu.
Perfect.
And I wanted to mention one more thing. If you search for the Institute for Military and Veteran Family Wellness on Facebook or LinkedIn, we also share a lot of information there about how to get involved in the REACH study.
That's awesome. Yeah, because being the most connected, right, the opportunities to reach out and seek resources, the more opportunities and options there are, that seems to be the easiest it is for folks to actually get connected and get the benefits of this program.
Definitely.
Well, Lisa, do you have anything else to add about this amazing program and what REACH is doing for our active duty spouses, or even what the Veteran Spouse Network and other studies are doing to assist those that fall into this category, that are navigating the rigors and challenges of military life, or just sharing their positive experience throughout their time as a military spouse?
Yeah, I just think it's important to get involved. And, if you have time to be part of a research study, that's wonderful. And I think you'll really benefit from the program as well. But you're also helping other people, because then the findings that we develop will be able to share out to the Army. And so hopefully this program could get funded and spread everywhere, so spouses going to any installation could benefit. But we really need people to participate so that we can get that data here in 2024. And so far we've started 4 groups, and we've only had positive comments, which is really awesome. And we're just so proud of all of our peer leaders that we've trained, and they're really doing the heavy lift and running the groups for 8 weeks. So, I just say, please get involved. Please reach out to us if you have any questions. And we're more than happy to come do presentations or briefings to your groups out at Fort Cavazos. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you for joining and calling in all the way from UT Austin, and we look forward to seeing this program grow. And you heard it here, folks. Reach out to the REACH program and learn more about how active duty spouses can get better connected in an ever-challenging and changing world. Thank you so much, Elisa.
Thank you.
Have a good one.
You too. Thank you.
Flash floods in central Texas happen within only a few hours of rain. Every year, more than 80% of flood fatalities involve vehicles, and about 10 people drown in their vehicles each year in Texas. Vehicles of every size can lose control, float, and roll over in flood conditions. Is taking the risk worth it? Is it worth the risk of leaving loved ones behind? Overconfidence kills. Don't drive through floodwater. It's not worth it.
And welcome back. You've got Eric with the Garrison Public Affairs Office here at Fort Cavazos, and I'm hanging out with Darren and Sean. We just got a whole bunch of info about the REACH program. Darren, you want to recap for us?
Yeah, guys, what a great opportunity for Fort Cavazos spouses, Army spouses, and eventually, hopefully, across all the branches, establishing a peer network that is outside of your standard SFRG or other type of military spouse support network group. It's just a really great program. And if you're interested in participating, again, reach back to Ms. Borah and get involved in the program, because they need your help to make sure that the data that is collected assists spouses across the Department of Defense. So really, really great stuff, guys. And I know that Eric, in your career, had again a tie-in with having an Army spouse and making sure that she was taken care of. So this is something that even they operate outside of the active duty spouses. They have an actual veteran spouse group as well.
It's actually pretty awesome having an entire network to navigate all the different ins and outs of military life. I mean, just being a soldier, having so many different services for myself, things could get confusing. So I could only imagine not being directly involved with everything. Everything can be so overwhelming. Having that entire network can be extremely helpful. So that's really cool.
Yeah, really cool. But we have a lot of really cool things going on the installation this upcoming couple weeks. What do we got going on, Sean?
Yeah, so hey guys, this is Sean with the Garrison Public Affairs Office. For those of you that are very interested in teeth, there's a special event going on for you. The Fort Cavazos American Red Cross is accepting applications for the Dental Assistant Program, where Dental Health Command trains Red Cross volunteers in the basic skills needed to work as a dental assistant. The program starts October 21st and runs through May 9, 2025. Individuals must submit their application no later than August 16th, so make sure you put that on your calendar. And applicants are required to have a valid military ID card, be a U.S. citizen, and 18 years or older. Oh yeah, you also have to have a high school or GED diploma or equivalent. So make sure you do that first. And, also be in the Fort Cavazos, Killeen area for 1 year, at least 1 year. Anyway, for more information, please email fort.cavazos@redcross.org. That's fort.cavazos@redcross.org. Or call at 254-287-0403. Or you can always visit the Red Cross office at 36,000 Darnall Loop, room 1039. Please call before you come in, though. No one likes surprises.
Yeah, no one likes surprises, especially when it's regarding your teeth. That's what a great program. I mean, dental hygienists and dental techs are vitally important to making sure that we maintain readiness. Again, guys, it's National Military Appreciation Month, and we also observe Memorial Day in just a few short days. Another powerful event coming to the Great Place is the annual memorial event held at Sandowski Field. The event is held from May 23rd through the 29th, where volunteers honor fallen service members with a single boot representing a fallen service member. There are often several thousand boots placed in front of the 3rd Armor Corps headquarters to honor those who have made the ultimate sacrifice. If you'd like to volunteer for this event, please reach out to Mr. James Elsie, Fallen and Wounded Branch Manager at 254-418-3040. No matter how many times you see that boot demonstration or the display, whether it's boots, flags, or any myriad of items representing fallen service members, it never loses its power. It's like visiting Washington, D.C. and going to the monuments. It just never, ever loses that power. What do you think, Eric?
The boot event to me, it's something that means a lot because, again, like I said last week, it gives us a chance to see those familiar faces that we might not see again, brings back some good memories. And you get to honor the guys and gals that, went out there, made the ultimate sacrifice for us and our country when the time called. And this is our way to kind of just remember them and give a little back and be able to go around and kind of honor them just one more time. And it's a good thing every year. I look forward to it.
Yes, sir. What else we got going on, Eric?
One of the coolest new things that's popping up here for Fort Cavazos is hosting a tech expo from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. on June 4th at the Lone Star Conference Center. All Department of Defense soldiers, civilians, and contractors are invited to attend. The expo will have opportunities to explore cutting-edge technology, Network with industry experts and get hands-on experience with tech for robotics, IT management, wireless communications, cybersecurity, and more. To pre-register, go to https://fdaexpo.com/register.php?ID = 354.
Man, what a
I hate that.
what a techie email address.
I hate that
You
so
know, that was
much.
complicated. I almost needed a PhD to read that email address.
We need to
later.
grunt proof that one because that's a
usually
little
there's,
rough. That's a little rough.
We'll also be sharing on social media for more information on that event. So please keep a lookout and please swing by the Lone Star Conference Center there on June 4 to be a part of that awesome event. But speaking of awesome events, this last weekend was filled with awesome events. I mean, we had the Killeen Rodeo. We had the Temple Air Show where I got a chance to put my knees in the breeze again a few times this weekend or last weekend. And I got to tell y'all, Janice, myself, and Steve were all at the Killeen Rodeo. And after that rain came in, it created quite the arena full of mud. We had the standard mutton busting from the kids. We have a young man named Jeremiah Little from Fort Cavazos who won that competition. So if you're here listening, Jeremiah, or your family's listening, congratulations on that big win. And you were the only kid to stay on that mutton for a good ride. Everyone else was kind of stopped right at the gate due to the mud. So it was pretty awesome to see. What did you guys do this last weekend?
Me, I kind of stayed in. The weather's not been so great. It's really muddy out there. It's really wet. So I just, decided to take it easy. Plus, I've been traveling a lot, and that is expensive. So I just need to chill out for a little bit.
Yeah, these storms threw everything for a little bit of a loop these past couple weeks, and I got to catch up on the honey-do list with some repairs around my yard, chopping up some trees that knocked over some fences and getting some fences fixed. So it's been a few fun-filled weeks of extra labor.
Yeah, it's important. I mean, those storms were pretty wild, and hopefully this week we get some decent weather. It's starting to warm up. This weekend was certainly warm as the weather cleared. So we'll be looking out and posting more about the hot weather safety and looking forward to more summertime tips because we're very, very close. It's going to be very, very soon. We kick off officially the summer months, so it's going to be a hot one.
We love our Texas heat down here.
I hope there's another drought. I need a drought. It's way too humid.
We appreciate everyone tuning in, and stay tuned for the next couple podcasts. We're going to get really exciting and really interesting. Some new flavors of podcasts are coming, and pretty soon we'll be live on video come July. Exciting stuff. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in to the Great Big Podcast, and we'll catch you next week.
Thank y'all. See you later.
Thanks, everyone.
This podcast is a U.S. Army Garrison Fort Cavazos and Fort Cavazos Public Affairs production. Have a question or want to share some of your wisdom with us? Drop us an email at fortcavazos@gmail.com. You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Fort Cavazos Army. And as always, be sure to leave us a review